Bigger, better, bolder. The cold, hard truth is taking talk to the next level. Right here on Bobo 89.1 FM, Cayman's Community Radio.
We are still spilling the tea.
And committed to being part of the change that Cayman so desperately needs. Join Sandy Hill weekdays from 7:30 a.m. for Premier Access, Cayman Voices, Truthful Thursdays, and much more. Cayman's #1 talk show is now bigger, better, bolder, and more than talk. Getting results with hot topics, consumer reports, court exposés, and more.
I've come to set the record straight. I've come to shine the light on you. Let me introduce myself. I am the cold, hard truth.
Now, from the CMR studio in Grand Cayman,
Live, direct.
it's the cold, hard truth. Now, join the conversation on 345-936-2626.
That number again is
345-936-2626.
Good morning, beautiful people. How is everyone doing this lovely, and I do mean lovely, Tuesday morning? I see clear skies ahead for all of us. I need to start doing a proper weather report. Y'all are like sitting here like, really, Sandy? I see clouds in the sky. I know, but just be positive, not delusional, but positive. Positivity can do a lot for you, honey child. Don't be a negative Nancy, as they say. All right, let me just see here what beautiful people we have joining us this morning. Allow me, first of all, to put on my specs because that's important for me to see who's here. Although I'm close enough to the computer where I can read most of it. But, putting on the specs makes it crystal clear that we have Jim Norris in the house. Good morning, Jim. How are you? Yes, honey child. How you doing? Bless you. Bless you. Bless you. All right. Let me see here. We've got Abby who's joining us. Yep. Good morning, Abby. How are you? We have Weeby here. Hello, Miss Weeby. Damaris, blissful British. I love it. Says good morning. Good, beautiful Keyman peeps and Miss Sandy. Blessings to all. Good grand rising. Gosh, you'd swear I can't read. Says wildlife machine. How y'all doing? Everybody's good. All right, we are going to get it this morning. Let me see here now. So many moving parts. Let me see now. I do want to All right. So let me see here now. Right. Okay. So I'm going to just, I had to close out some tabs last night. I had like 1 million tabs open. I said, oh, Lord, if Marlon sees my computer, he's going to be like, restart that thing. Yay. Let me see. Facebook is moving kind of slow this morning. Yes, there we go. So yesterday, look at the beautiful Rita Estevanovich. She is like a natural beauty. So yesterday was a very, very interesting discussion. Hi, Marshall. Hi, Moran. Good morning. New Jersey. Hey, what's the weather like in Jersey? Is it like hot? Yeah, I think you guys have very hot summers as well. All right, I need to eat this morning, so I'm gonna have myself some tea. Gonna put in my little breakfast order with Miss Stacy. Scrambled eggs, no bread, no starches, no carbs. So we're gonna just do scrambled eggs. Some kind of protein, other protein like a turkey bacon. I hope we have some. And some mint tea. I'm getting refocused on my dietary habits again. I was doing the fasting thing kind of loosely, like not super, super strict, but it wasn't too bad. And then I kind of fell off that wagon. Yes, I did. And let's just say that I haven't I haven't jumped back on the wagon. So no bueno. I know we all need to do better, to be honest. So I am going to get on board with that again. Ooh, who's that messaging me? I heard a little donk, donka, 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 donk. Okay, let me see. I'm trying out a new product on the computer because I want to see. These messages are the bane of my existence, huh? All these messages you guys send me. The problem is I'm getting messages from all over the place. A message here, a message there. So I'm looking at a few options. I'm testing one out now that allows me to centralize my messages where everything comes into like one mailbox. But I don't know how well this is going to work. It's kind of designed more for people doing sales. So it looks like it doesn't allow you to initiate conversations, which is kind of weird. So, I mean, I have initiate meeting like on WhatsApp in particular, because WhatsApp API, I know I'm getting a little technical already this morning, but WhatsApp API is a little bit different. So, because I use WhatsApp Business. So anyway, I'm testing it out. If it works as I envision, I think it has potential, but I'm not sure yet. So it looks like it's logged me out of all of my, looks like it logged me out of my WhatsApp this morning. I need to be able to message you guys on the WhatsApp. Okay, let me see. And there are some people who do call in WhatsApp as well. It's not opening. I'm waiting. Oh boy. Whoa. Messages are coming in this morning. Oh. Okay. So I have audio on WhatsApp. You see, it's okay if people message, then I'm able to message back. Okay. I have all Instagram, WhatsApp, and what is this one? So everything comes into like one mailbox. I kind of like it. Excuse me for writing at this hour. I just got off of work. Where can I pick you up? Thank you very much. Pick you up. Pick up who? Pick up what? This Instagram. You ain't picking me up. I mean, I don't know what you're looking to pick up. It's not me. This may work. Not sure. I mean, I do like it in one mailbox because like I literally have one person managing all the stuff because it's just too much. It's like, OMG. You all know what I mean? But maybe, I'm just thinking off the top of my head now. Maybe I don't fool with the WhatsApp because normally it's not the WhatsApp messaging that's the bane of my existence. It's the social media. It's Facebook and Instagram that's like, Good morning, Miss Joy. Olivia. Olivine, is that how you pronounce it? Good morning to you, lovely. Hermes, is that in Hermes, as in the bag Hermes that all these rich people be going after? For them. Mirstar, good morning to you. Lavana, buenos dias. Debbie joining us from Thailand. Moran says, yep, it's hot here in Jersey. Ooh. Miss Barbara G in the house. How you doing? Marshall joining us from North Carolina, I'm assuming. C. Ebanks, good to see you. All right, let me see here now. The thing is, I need to get back into my WhatsApp on my computer because I need to send some messages. So I'm wondering why this one isn't opening. All right, let me do my little barcode scan and jump back in. Give me 1 second here. Like I said, no, it was lots of. I felt so productive yesterday. Oh, by the way, you guys are so good at reminding me about appointments. Today I have one at, let me check my calendar now, honey child, because I know y'all gonna remind me. So we've got one today at 10:30. So make sure I leave here no later than 10 o'clock, okay? Do not, I'm repeating myself, do not let me sit here. It sure enough did log me out. So how do I get it back? Desktop beta. Okay, let me see how to get back. It logged me out of everywhere. I wonder if I can, that might present a problem. Okay, let me see. Gonna remove it. You see, yeah, WhatsApp is a little bit different. Get Meta verified to link more devices. I think that's what it is, you know. You can't sign up right now. You actually aren't eligible. Okay, whatever. Yeah, I think my issue is going to be WhatsApp. So, hello, my name is Carlos Sanchez. I'm a consultant on the team. I'm here to help you, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, they're asking all these questions about tools automation. I have a simple question about WhatsApp. Because I don't really need it. I don't need your product for sales automation because I'm not selling anything as such. I'm just looking for something to manage messages in one central location. For sales automation, I just need management of messages in a single inbox. What's up would be very critical, but not a game killer, not a game changer. Well, game changer, but not a what's the phrase that we use? Not a non-negotiable. I'm not sure it will work. I need access to WhatsApp PC/web for my business account. And I just need to be able to read and send messages. Messages. I do have a channel which I need to manage from PC as well. Okay. All right, let's see what they come back with. So right now, I am not logged in. Okay, let me just have a look at something real quick. The inbox here. Do I have access to, I mean, I kind of like the interface of it. It's nice and clean. But do I have access to, so it has a call area, enable calls, go to channels. Channel settings. No, not that channel. Inbox. Yes. Where, you see, I don't think I have WhatsApp channels in here, which is kind of important for me. Yeah. All right. So what this means this morning is I have to send from my phone the link for this morning's show. Just a second. Give me un momento, clase. Let me see here now. I don't really like a lot of times typing from my phone. I like the access of being able to do, especially at WhatsApp. I like to, that's why sometimes y'all like, damn girl, how you sending me so many messages? And I'm like, well, the beauty of it, doing it from the computer is it's like so easy. All right, let me try to find YouTube channel. All right, let me see, live. Oh, so much going on in Jamaican politics right now, y'all. Morning meditation with Prophet Mark in BVI Tortola. Why is that showing up in my feed? We have The Buzz with Kathy over at Radio Cayman. Hey, Kathy. 8 people watching Kathy. Will Andrew Holiness resign on the 4th of September? Resign? Hasn't the man made it clear that he's running? That's the green team, right? In Jamaica. That man ain't resigning. Oh, look, somebody who gets fewer views than Radio Cayman. It's a Jamaican show called The Morning Watch with Dr. Dylan Toussaint. He's only got 7 people watching and Radio Cayman has 8. Damn. I don't know who he is, brother, but nobody ain't watching you. Especially, I'm always shocked at, this is Love 101 FM. I don't know who they are in Jam Rock, but it's kind of interesting, I think, when you have a big population like Jamaica and nobody's watching you, you're kind of like, Ooh, they have a show called Sunrise Morning Show, CVM TV. Oh. What time are they on? Oh, they got a cute studio set up. I like it. Very bright. Oh, who's Nationwide this morning? Is that in Jamaica? Nationwide 90 FM. Damn, now they got some people watching. Hello, Nationwide. Who's Nationwide TV? Anybody knows who they are? Ooh, I better try and team up with them. They got a lot of people watching. Nationwide News Network. Who are they? Not for nothing. But Auntie got to do some research on them. Oh my gosh. Y'all see my train of thought this morning, right? Nationwide News Network. Oh, they're a radio broadcaster in Kingston, Jamaica. Really? Oh yeah, I think I have heard of them actually. Nationwide FM. Oh, I'd have to follow them and see Wagwan. Wagwan, Nationwide. I see y'all got some stuff going on the Facebook. On YouTube, actually, they've got some good followers. All right, let me see here now. What was I actually supposed to be doing? Instead of getting distracted. Oh, go daddy just charged me some money. What for? All right, let me get my link and stop being distracted. Y'all see how it works, right? You get so distracted. It's like, oh my God. Sandy, focus. All right, copy. Dun, dun, dun. So listen, speaking of Jam Rock, yesterday, someone was, don't forget, you can watch us now on cmrtv.com. So excited about the website. September 1st, coming to come. Because once that happens, we are in it to win it. We're going live. I told my content creators, get off the pot. All right. So give me 1 second here. Yes. 3, 4, 5. See all this typing now. If I was on 936, I put in the wrong number. If I was in the computer, I would have had this done a long time ago. Oh, snaps. And I still didn't get it right. Oh, man. Edit. 3, 4, 5, 9, 3, 6. Yeah, the phone typing business is kind of slow. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not about the slowpoke business. Let Let me see. All right. So that message is finally sent 5,000 years later. Hello, team up with Andre. All right. Speak your mind. He's my friend, right? We're social media friends. I got him on WhatsApp. And I've been thinking about it. To be honest, I haven't really watched Andre's show in a minute. But I know Andre is the sizzle, the izzle, the everything, right? So I do need to talk to him. We've been kind of messaging each other, and it's my fault why we haven't yet connected. Totally my fault. But is he still like the thing in Jam? Like, are y'all still watching him? Because I haven't watched him in a minute, so I don't know. Let me check his views and stuff. Because he be bringing it, but see, his is a different kind of shit. Like, everybody has their own little nuances and stuff like that. So, Andre Stevens, let me see if I can find him. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I love Andre, but he does a lot of like Crime Watch and all that kind of stuff. Oh, he has a midday live connection now. What is that about? Oh, you see, this is the thing. Andre be doing stuff. Sometimes though, I notice that he has an interview with Mark Golding on the bus tour. I think he is very pro. What's the orange team in Jamaica called? There's JLP and PNP. Are those two teams? I don't remember. But he does a lot of politics. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really want to politicize CMR TV on the Jamaican perspective. Like, yes, a sit-down show with a person interviewing, different political candidates, getting the landscape. But I don't know that I want someone who has such a strong opinion. And this is kind of weird, but like, say this one he did a day ago, he said, let's give thumbs up to Mark Golding for making the right decision for postponing the PNP meeting. I don't care about that. We need like a broad overview of politics in Jamaica heading into the election. They've made some strides with their economy and getting off of who do they own? The monetary people, they owe them money. So they've made strides. So like broader discussions like that. But I don't want a political discussion in the sense that, someone who's just pro this one, always doing shows on my platform, if that makes any sense. So I want like a balanced show when it comes to politics. I know a lot of his stuff right now, because on Sunday, the election date was set for Jamaica. So y'all done know that that's going to be hotter than hot. So he's doing a midday live connection show, Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. Interesting. All right, I'm gonna reach out to him again, because it's totally my fault why we haven't been able to. Like, every time I'm like, okay, let's meet, and it never happens. I'm gonna reach out to him because I think some of the stuff he does would be interesting, but the politics stuff, I'm kind of like, not so much so. Now, we have a lot of Jamaicans here, so CMR TV, of course, has to include my Jamaican brothers and sisters. But we're not that invested in Jamaican politics. Most Caymanians, CMR is Cayman Mall Road first. We don't really care about Jamaican politics that much. Like, yeah, we want a little bit. Okay, you called your election, but we ain't going to be sitting here worried about who's wearing orange, who's wearing purple, who's wearing pink, whatever your colors are. Jim says, let's not. There's a real thing called political news fatigue going around, and it's exhausting. Well, I tell you what, you know who is making you exhausted? Oh, he says blaze up the whole Trump clown show. Oh my God. Who is exhausting us is Trump. It's not the news that's fatiguing us. It's Trump that's fatiguing us, because he does so much stuff that is out of this world, next level. That's what's happening, Jim. Like he's like a manic person. Every minute he is doing something major. It's like over here. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to get my hair done. Look at it, look kind of wild. But yeah, I can't. My brain is just like, oh my God. I feel like a kid that I had to take a nap yesterday afternoon. Yeah, I need a nap. So now the latest is he's and Jim, the media can't ignore the stuff that he's doing. So it's not like y'all can say, oh, just ignore the man. If we ignore him, it is to the world's detriment. Like he has literally, listen to how loco this is. He has literally taken over. He's federalized the police service in Washington, D.C. So the federal government has taken over the police service. And according to Trump, it's because crime is out of control. Now, here's the crazy thing about it. It's a lie. There's something wrong with this man. Like, he is not playing with a full deck. So let me just throw this nugget out there. Crime in Washington, D.C., serious crime is down 32% year on year. So how is it now that he decides that this is such a brilliant idea? There's not a need for it. It is just unbelievable. So Trump's announced yesterday, you guys can go watch the video with him and his interesting self, that he's invoking, hold on, let me tell you what he says. That he is invoking, taking control of the DC police, deploying the National Guard, invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. I don't even know how the man knows this stuff. He says, you know what that is? I'm placing the DC Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control. And you'll be meeting the people who'll be directly involved with that. Why? Very good people, but they're tough. I don't understand. Because the problem is his logic behind it is it's like all of this is because of what? To not deal with the issue of the Epstein files. Is that what this is really all about? Like smokescreen and mirrors, but it's massive smokescreen and mirrors. He says violent crime, in his words, is out of control in the District of Columbia, and that they recorded a high level of robberies and carjacking. In fact, the truth is violent crime has reached its lowest point in 6 years. It doesn't make any sense. Homicides are down 12% year to date, following a 31% decrease in 2024 compared to 2023. Where is the logic here? It's just unbelievable. Carjackings are down 37% compared with the same time last year. And this is all DC data. Like, I don't know where Trump, he makes these decisions in silo, and he just throws out stuff out there that simply isn't true. I don't care if you're a Trump supporter. Nobody can operate a country based on false information. He just doesn't get it. So you can look at the data. One thing I love about America is they have data on everything. People burp, and it's like, how many people burp every 5 seconds kind of vibe. They have agencies that's what they do. They collect data, they research, I love that about America. And this dude does not rely on anything called data. He just does whatever the flip he feels like doing. And it doesn't support it. Somebody said, yeah, crime in DC is out of control at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Now that's funny. Another person says he's lying. Of course, crime is actually down. It just, listen, it makes me so uncomfortable because what happens under this DC home rule, the president can take control of the city's police for 48 hours. So it's kind of like what they do in Jamaica with the, oh gosh, what are those things that they always have? They have those where the military goes in and it's considered a big deal when the military goes in, ZOZAs or whatever, the zones, the crime zones, whatever they call them. So it is, let me not say Zosha, because that's that girl's name. It's Zoza zone, something zone. But anyway, it's considered a pretty big deal. And so, normally it is for special conditions, as it says here, well, he says here, an emergency nature exists, which require the use of the Metropolitan Police Force for federal purposes. The takeover can be extended for 30 days total if he notifies the members of Congress who oversee DC affairs. But it's none of it is necessary. And the question, why is he doing this? And apparently, DC National Guard can be deployed without local consent, making it the only unit out of all of the 54 states and territories that reports directly to the president. No other state this can happen except for DC. So when the National Guard is called to federal service, the president serves as its commander-in-chief. You can see where this can go wrong. It's just unbelievable. Now, if he wanted to do it the right way, he could federalize DC, which would go through an act of Congress, which has ultimate oversight of the District of Columbia under the Constitution. But that would require overturning the House Rule Act, which puts much of DC's governing authority in the hands of its residents. So there's a way for him to do it long term, but nobody understands what this man is really doing. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy. How are you?
Not too bad. How you doing?
This quote reminds me so much of Donald Trump. Not knowing the truth makes you ignorant, but not wanting to know the truth makes you stupid.
Yeah. He just makes stuff up.
God,
but the problem with it, here's the problem with it, right? I know it's America, and listen, I'm just trying to live my best life here in the Cayman Islands, but what they do does impact us. Our dollar, I always chuckle when people say, why do you care about U.S. politics? I'm like, our dollar is tied to the U.S. dollar. Let's be very, very clear here. We better care. They sneeze and we're the ones dying of COVID or whatever, but the crazy thing about it, when you see leadership this sporadic, if I can use that word, right? I was going to say schizo, but I'm not trying to insult anyone in the mental health field or any mental health patients. He's just sporadic, and he's very unbalanced in the way that his leadership role is, his leadership skills. Mr. Dexter, call got dropped. It's crazy. But when you see someone like this, there's a real danger, in my opinion, if he lives that long, that we're looking at another term with this man. He's gonna do it. He will find a way, by hook or by crook, to change the U.S. Constitution or to dispose of it, throw it in the garbage, whatever he needs to do, to ensure that he can run again for a third term, which, as you know, at the moment you can't currently do. But that's coming. So, I don't know. Hey, Junior Goldburn in the house. Leroy, where have you been? I haven't seen you in a minute. Welcome, welcome. So we got to pay attention to this stuff because it's the United States of America, but it has a lot of ramifications on us. Like, he's doing stuff with immigration and fees for people coming in. And it's just like, if you have a student right now, I have a friend, her son was looking at universities to go to, and he had some options in the US, and he decided to choose Canada. And she said, Sandy, I am so glad that he chose Canada because I couldn't even deal right now. I don't even feel safe knowing that my young African Caribbean son, boy of color, would be in the US because this country is just off the rails. The dude who's driving the bus has no roadmap, doesn't know what he's doing. He's driving it off the cliff. He doesn't care. And unfortunately, a good portion of Americans are sitting down there blindly just accepting all this foolishness. And you guys can't compare. I like how, under the Obama and the Democrats are saying, I'm not a party politics person when it comes to American politics or any country, really. I don't care. I don't care about the Democrats. I don't care about the Republicans. I don't care about whoever else is in the mix, right? This is just about looking at the actions of leadership in action that is chaotic and batch crazy. Okay, I almost said that on radio. Don't call me off, Reg. Caught myself. Anyway, they're not really that strict, but because it's not my radio station yet, we're not gonna touch it. Don't worry, CMR radio coming soon enough. But my point is, right? When people sit back and talk about, well, Obama, like you say something about Trump, well, Obama did that. I'm like, you can't, just be neutral for a second here. Put aside the reasons why you like Trump. And most of you like Trump because of his immigration policy, which is crazy as heck. And it's also demonstrating how incredibly prejudiced America is. I mean, there's no two ways about it. You know, y'all will open the floodgates for Europeans to come through and for all the Russians in the world and this and that. But, you know, forget about Caribbean nations, forget about, you know, Hispanic, Latin American, South American countries, African nations. Y'all don't get to go into America anymore. So the policy is based on a degree of prejudiceness that you cannot argue with. It is very, very obvious what's going on. Like, how do you talk about, oh, the white people in South Africa, the original Afrikaans have been disenfranchised. We're going to let them have a special decree to be able to come into our country. You have to admit, if you like Trump, there's probably a part of you that is a little bit racist. And there's no such thing as a little bit racist. It's like saying, oh, I have a little touch of sugar. You're diabetic, honey child. Just accept what you are. You can't be a little bit racist. You can't be, well, I like his immigration policies and not recognize how incredibly racist they are. I'm just saying. But if you set aside your whatever reasons that you like Trump, oh, you know, he's such a strong man. I'm like, no, he's not. He looks like a jury. He is not much better than Biden. And I wasn't impressed with Biden either. He's not much better than him. He's falling off, you know, getting off the plane. He's doing the most. Something not ticking. His family has early dementia. I'm convinced it's already set in with him. But in addition to that, he is blatantly dishonest. You see, y'all can say whatever you want with Biden. Oh, yes, his son was on drugs. Okay, he's behind, gone to jail. Good. You have, you know, listen, when you're a privileged person, you got money, they live a different life. And yes, we have to hold them all accountable equally, right? But my thing is, Trump is blatantly dishonest. This dude goes to play golf in Scotland as he is visiting his golf course and he cheats. Cameras there watching the man and he putts or kicks the thing, you know, so he can win at a game of golf. Who does that? So, you know, if he's cheating with that, he is basically cheating with everything in life. He's cheating on Melania with only God knows who. Anybody that would entertain him at this point. He is just a dishonest person at his core. He's not a good person. And he never has been. He's lied about his finances. Listen, don't get me started. I can't with Trump. The man is just crazy. And those of you in America who support this nonsense, I have to really wonder about what you're really up to. And all of this, I agree with AJ, all of this is a distraction from the Epstein files. Release the files. He's gone as far as saying, thank you guys so much, the SEOs in Jamaica. Yeah, state of emergency. He's gone as far as claiming that Biden placed his name in the Epstein files. And so that's why you don't want to release them? Okay, let's say we believe that ridiculous nonsense for a second. Biden planted your name in the Epstein files, then release it. Show the world what a lunatic Biden is and that he would set you up and he would do something like that. But you see, no such thing has happened. Epstein's own brother has talked about how close they were. Yeah, on planes together. There was an ongoing joke about Trump always cheating on his wives. And so Epstein said in a group of people, and he said it more than once because it's like, oh, this is an ongoing joke. Why do you like to cheat with younger women or something like that? And then Trump's response, because he thinks he's so funny, is, oh, because I can. Because that's funny to him, you know. These people have no moral compass. They were close. His brother said, if you go back and check the flight logs, and nobody doctoring no flight logs from way back when, if you go back and check the flight logs as it relates to Epstein and Trump's flights or private jets, you will see, because they got to record who's on there, you will see that him and Epstein spent an enormous amount of time together. And yet he's trying to hide and pretend like he didn't even know the man. Oh, we were just casual. It's like, really? Casual, you say? No, sir. It is a level of ridiculousness. And like I said, you know, I have a really difficult time. Let me scan my QR code, see if I can get logged back into WhatsApp. I have a really, really difficult time understanding how anyone can sit back and ignore the amount of stuff that this man does. It is just mind blowing. Good morning, Miss Alba. Damien, telling somebody to learn history. Okay. Morning, Robert. It's just unbelievable. This only means there's a lot of arrests are coming very, very soon. Arrests for what? Damien, I know you like Trump, but half the stuff you be saying don't make no sense when it comes to Trump. Who's he going to be arresting? Arresting for what? You really think this man is somebody's savior? Listen, I don't wish anybody any bad in anyone. But I really do hope that either America wakes up, and I think unfortunately, as long as Trump is around, that's not going to happen. So the good Lord gonna have to do what he does sometimes. He might have to intervene. Junior, you were at Caribbean Haven Rehab. I'm no longer drunk. Oh, I no longer drink. Well, that's good. I'm so glad to hear that, Junior. I didn't realize that you were in rehab, but I'm glad that you went. And that's good. You know, like I said yesterday, a lot of us need therapy. We need, rehab. If you have an addiction, by all means, talk to the professionals and try to get that sorted out. So I'm very happy for you. Thank you so much for being honest and just updating us. And I hope that you're on the road. You know, recovery is a day-by-day situation. You know, sobriety. So make sure you do the things, check in with your sobriety team and do the things with your professionals that you have to. Al says they love Trump because they're hateful just like him. It's in the DNA. He's the weakest link and an inferior mentality. Debbie says anyone who follows Trump, it's just as bad as him. Miss Lucille, good morning. Oh, you're out from your procedure already? Oh, that was quick. Miss Brenda says, no one is a little bit racist. Racist is one-dimensional, ugly. I know. That's why I said you're not a little bit diabetic either. But, they don't see themselves as racist is the problem. They're like, oh, well, we just don't want any foreigners in the country. And I'm like, oh, does that include Trump? Does that include his wife? Because his wife's history of how she even became an American. Working illegally and all that other stuff. So now that he's taken people out who did stuff 30 years ago, they worked illegally, entered the country. Shouldn't she be included in that? Deport her back to Afghanistan or where the heck she came from. Russia Part 1 or whatever it was called at the time. I'm just saying, you don't get to pick and choose who you're going to apply these rules to. It should be applied to your wives as well. And every single wife this man has been a foreign wife. I'm just saying. As much as he goes on and on about foreigners, he can't find a single good American of all the millions that they have. Philip says America has become an Aryan nation. If you're not white, uneducated, or if educated, have to swear loyalty to the cult, otherwise you must leave. His fetish is to become another Putin or Kim Jong-un. I unfortunately, I think so. And a lot of it stems from, his own issues with like ego and inadequacies and all that kind of stuff. American politics. Listen, I lived in the United States of America, and I was there for 15 years. I gotta call this parent today. And so I love America up to a certain point. A lot has changed. Could I ever see myself living there again? Well, they say never say never. So I'm not going to say never. There are parts of America, even when I go back now and I, visit Tampa, I'm like, Lutz used to be very, very country, but, it's developed a little bit. And so, maybe I don't like their taxation and that sort of thing. It's kind of crazy. So there's certain aspects of it that I'm like, even having a home there turns me off. But never say never. Maybe I'd have like a little apartment or something that I could stay in, once every couple months. I don't know. I mull it over in my head. Because my aunt used to say, Sandy, you this is America. Everything you do here, if you go outside and you walk on the sidewalk, you pay for that. You spit on the sidewalk, you just paid for the privilege of doing so. So they tax you a lot. And so part of me isn't really into that. You know, if you have an apartment or house and you're in a community, you've got HOA fees, insurance is at the roof now, especially in Florida. Florida actually is the real estate market in Florida is kind of tanking. You've got federal tax and you got, state tax, you got vehicle tax. It's a lot. They tax you a lot for the privilege. So there are other parts of me like, girl, what are you going to the States for now? You just going there to shop. Go pick up your Amazon order, hit Ross, hit Walmart, hit, Marshalls, TJ Maxx. You can do that in a weekend, or we can get your behind back home to the beautiful Cayman Islands that I'm fighting hard to make sure that we get it right. And that our leadership isn't bat crazy. So I don't have the energy to be fighting in America. And then all the stuff that they do have going on with the gun violence. And just yesterday, where was it? Target, 3 people dead again. I'm just like, damn, everywhere you go, you got to be looking over your shoulder. You got to be like, okay, where's the exit? When you go into a mall, let me make sure I know where the exit is. Because when I hear gunshots, I got to grab my child and try to get the hell out of here. Slovenia, that's where she's from. There you go. Someplace, I knew it was someplace over there. So anyway, but I don't want to see America tank, because again, if America goes to the dogs, it's bad enough now. Dog eat our supper too. We're right off their shores, an hour and 15 minutes. A lot of our visitors are North American. So it's tough. It is really, really tough for me to see what's happening in America and just ignore it. I can't ignore it, because America, I still love you. I love you. You got a little spot in my heart. Not like Cayman now. Cayman got a big spot in my heart, but y'all got a little spot in my heart. And we have family there. Like, we know that they're being impacted by this stuff. We've got family, one wife is Hispanic, she went in, right? But what if Trump and his ICE people show up at her door tomorrow and be like, oh yeah, we don't care how you came in. We're going to take you just because you're from Ecuador or whatever. Marlon has, Jamaican cousins and stuff there. They are American citizens, and they've been there from they were kids and whatever. But with this man and his policy, you just never know what the next thing is that he's going to be jumping on top of or jumping off of. So it is disheartening to see what's happening. And so when you talk about the fatigue of it all, it is very, very very challenging. I wish Trump, they said he's spending something like 50-60% of his time golfing anyway. I wish he spent all of his time golfing and didn't continue to mess up America. But every single day, practically, it is something else that this man is doing that is just putting the world in a topsy-turvy spin. Lord have mercy. El Rey says, go Trump today, tomorrow, in the next 3 years. El Rey, I can't believe that you're a Trump supporter. I got to be honest with you. When I see you posting stuff in favor of him, I was a little bit surprised. But I have learned one thing about politics and conspiracy theories. Don't be surprised when people believe the things that they believe. And so, I just try not to have personal conversations with people about politics, because I can't even. Jim says, yes, you're taxed on top of tax on top of tax. And you continue to pay tax after it's paid. So in reality, you owe nothing. Because if you don't pay your taxes, that even after it's fully paid, the government can come and take it. It is a crazy model, I must admit. By the way, I caught part of the tax-free, is it a week or a month in Florida? I think it's a week. So I caught part of it. And I was able to buy, I got Gigi some school uniforms and stuff. Went to the uniform store there. I had to go to the uniform store there because I will tell you, there's something going on here with the skirts in Cayman. They're a little bit too short. I don't know where, and it's not just Cayman, because we went to like Walmart, Target. They all have these super short uniform skirts. I'm like, why are the skirts for girls so short and showing all this above the knee business? I ain't about that life. I'm going to call Aunt Lottie and speed dial. So But El Rey, that's not even what's happening. If he was just targeting illegal people, that'd be one thing. He is even targeting American citizens. You need to really read up on what this man is doing. But anyway, at the end of the day, I was like, I'm not about these shorts. I said to my cousin, can you help me find uniforms that come down closer to the knee? Because I don't want my daughter wearing these short things to school. Although they're skorks at that age, they do have shorts underneath. Still, I feel a way about the, modesty, especially when it comes to children. So anyway, we went to a uniform store, and thank goodness I went during tax-free week, and I was able to get no taxes on it. That was nice. Good morning, caller.
Morning. How you doing?
Right here, honey child. How are you?
I wish I could say I was better than I am, but anyway, I wanted to ask you a question.
Sure.
I'm talking about America and their taxes and stuff, right? I heard somewhere that, or like in England, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody really owns the land. When you buy a land, you buy the right to build on the land, but it's not really yours. The crown can take it back. Is it the same in Cayman?
No. I mean, I don't know. I haven't done English land law. I'm not familiar with this concept that you're talking about because people own property there. So I don't really know that to be a fact. But in the Cayman Islands, I mean, you own your land, you purchase your property, you own it. I mean, obviously, we don't have property taxes here yet. We pay taxes when you do, you pay transfer stamp duty on it. But you own your land. Now, there is something about compulsory acquisition, which is a very different situation. But no, I mean, people in a democracy, people can't just come and take your property. I mean, that's why when, as you guys remember, what was his name? The guy who was running for politics there. What's his name again?
In England?
No, here, the little young guy, Walton. I can't remember his name, but whatever, Hunter. When Hunter said that, even about the skate park, I'm like, Hunter, you do realize what you're suggesting. And I'm very concerned when politicians are extremists, because I think that's dangerous. And so the government just can't come and take your land and do whatever they want with it. That's not how this works. So I'm not aware, to be very clear, that this exists at all, not even in the UK, because of our laws are fundamentally English common law based on the UK laws and stuff like that, largely. So I'm not aware of the fact that we don't own our land and the government can just come and take it at any time. I don't think that is even the case in the UK.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. Compulsory. Listen, like I said, compulsory acquisition has limited application in law. And, you have to be careful whenever you try to utilize it, even with the fish market in town. That's why I said, listen, I can't support. I know the former Minister of Tourism, Kenneth Bryan, was like, yes, well, if we have to take this property. And you see, the attitude is that, if a rich person has the property, then it's okay if we take it. And so a lot of times these MPs will come to you and say, leave it to us because we're going to protect the poor fishermen from the rich people. And I'm like, no. Listen, the law has to be equally applied for all of us, rich, poor, middle class, and something in between. So I can't say that I'm okay with you taking advantage of rich people just because they're rich. Just like I could never say I'm okay with you taking advantage of poor people just because they're poor. That doesn't fly. And not only does it not fly in terms of, things like land acquisition or whatever, the same thing applies to religion. That's why lately there's been a whole conversation kicking up. And I know y'all been inboxing me and wanting me to be your anti-Muslim champion. And I'm telling you, I cannot do that. The same constitution that protects your religious beliefs when it comes to Christianity or not believing or whatever, that protects everyone. You can't just say we're only going to protect Christians, because then where do we stop? Oh, we're only going to protect Caymanian Christians from Northside? Like, it's just, you have to be very careful when you start applying the law based on categories of individuals. Equity before the law should be for everyone. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Morning, Miss Brenda. How you doing?
I'm okay. Now, you know I didn't plan to call you this early, right?
I know. This is kind of early for you. Any cricket on at the moment?
A cricket coming on.
Yeah. Because I know when that's on, you're not gonna be paying me no mind.
Yeah, and you know I can be all up into that.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah, because we got win this series. Yeah, West Indies are playing Pakistan.
Okay.
So I know you don't know, but
yeah, I don't really watch it too much, but
yeah, the series is level now, and so tonight is today's the last game, the third one.
Okay.
So this is the deciding one. But you know, I got to be all up into that.
Oh yes.
But anyway, your caller was asking. Now I'm not saying this is what he was asking, or this is the answer to his question, but he was asking something about land acquisition. I don't know if he means, because I know in the UK, say you were living in the UK and you passed on, and no one, and you owned a house or an apartment, whatever, and no one came to clean it, you know,
right?
The air. It would then, oh God, what do they call it again? Oh Jesus! Like the county where you live, they would clean it. They would clean it. So in other words, the government would end up owning that if no one came.
Yes, I mean, you mean if you're deceased and there's no one else, no
But whether you have living relatives or not, if they don't go to clean it, then it's
well, I don't think they quite take it like that. Like they exhaust every opportunity to find.
If no one goes to clean it, remember now, if taxes are owed, taxes will have to be paid up to date and so on. And because I can tell you, it happened with my grandfather when he passed away, because he lived in, he retired back in Wales. And of course, his children lived in the Caribbean. And back then, you know, it's not like you had BA coming in here. That would have been a boat ride. And of course, they did not need it. They had their own. So it went back. So I'm trying to remember what, oh God. Is it the city? Is it the council? Because they have their district councils and they monitor things like this. So after a certain time, if no one from the family turns up, you know, to say, this is my father, you know, produce a proper document and stuff, this is his house, it goes back to them. That's how it works there. I'm not sure now if it's on lease and stuff. I imagine if it's on lease, it's not owned, or even if you're doing a lease to own thing, if it's not all paid up, you don't own it there. But I don't know if that is what your caller was asking about, as I said. But if that's what he meant, then he is kind of right about the repossession, I guess you could say, possession of it. It does happen.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, we have Caymanians, I guess, who live in the UK. I don't know if we have any there who actually own their own property. I think a lot of them are just renting and stuff like that, but maybe they might know a little bit more. Oh, we do have a lawyer who's weighing in as well, but thank you so much, Miss Brenda.
Okay.
All right, my dear. We have a UK number calling, so let's see. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning, my girls back home. Love you all.
Good morning. Good morning.
I got you, but it wasn't that pleasant. You know how that go. So I'm waiting now for them to take me back home. So I'm going home to watch you all for the rest of the day.
Okay.
You all take care. Melita, I know you're listening. Call me later, please.
All right, my dear. All right, so
Okay,
we
so I
have
love
some.
you all at
Thank
home.
you.
Love
Thank
you
you
all.
so much. Really appreciate it. All right,
Okay,
Miss
love.
Lucille.
Bye-bye.
So we have someone who has answered the question regarding the UK for us, both an attorney at law as well as, family member has property in the UK. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sandy.
Morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
On the topic of compulsory acquisition,
Yes.
it does exist in Cayman.
Yes.
And I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you to it.
Yeah, I mean, I said it does, but there are supposed in law, there are limited circumstances under which it should be deployed. And so sometimes we have our own MPs who don't understand compulsory acquisition, and they're thinking that, they can just go grab anybody's land for any reason.
Okay, well, I'm going to give you two prime examples.
Mm-hmm.
When the Dr. Royce Drive was being introduced, there was a house owned by the Shillets, which was going to come, which was situated right in the middle of where the road was going to come. The then minister made it clear that this was in the interest of the country. So an account was opened and money was put into the account. Persons were given a time frame in which to move. That time frame came and they did not. And guess what? I can remember quite clearly because I was out there. Bulldozers was out there to go and bulldoze the house down, and people had to get out of the house. Fast forward to 2-3 years ago on the Linford Pearson Highway. Mr. Bobby Thompson has had his great portion of his land used and taken by the NRA. And to this day, he has not been paid for it. Now, this is not something I believe. This is something I know because I talk to this man on a regular basis. I even visit him. This man is 91 years old. His wife
the government has compulsory taken his land. When did they do that?
I don't know exactly what dates, but even right now,
has it been a number of years? Because they have a certain amount of time, I think, in which to pay for it, but they're supposed to pay for it in a timely manner.
Even presently, with the widening of the road and stuff like right now, they have taken more of his land, and he has not been compensated for it. And it's happened in many, many other different instances in which I can relate. So, yes, it can happen, and it has happened, and it does happen, and it is still happening. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much. So yes, someone was reminding me, JLP is green. They're the ruling power now. And PNP is orange. And that's Mr. Golding, right? So I think he's trying to get back in power. And he hasn't been in for a number of years, Jamaican politics. All right, so here's a few comments that have come in. Thank you so much. This person says, morning, in the UK, freehold means owning both the property and the land outright, where leasehold means owning the property for a set period, but not the land. So you can buy either outright, which is freehold, or for term, which is leasehold, which I think we have a similar situation here. But for us, leasehold tends to be more of, you're not owning the property, you're renting the property. So it's a proper lease, right? Another person who has multiple properties in the UK said that they have 2 homes in the UK. No government can take my property. Maybe if it's a council house, but they own the land and the property. So I think council homes are government owned anyway. And so I think that's how they try to control the housing market in terms of cost. But of course, you're renting it then, and you have to make sure that you have to pay up your rent and, obviously, whatever your obligations are. In relation to Trump, this person says it's not just Trump. He's aided and abetted by numerous people, and Vance is even scarier. There is a whole theory about really they want someone like Vance to be in, but Trump is the tool that they're going to use to get there. It's very, very interesting. And I hear a lot of people that do say that Vance is something else, because he's probably not as stupid as Trump, but more dangerous than Trump. Yeah. The reason why Black and brown people have been boycotting numerous companies, including Amazon, is because they have supported Trump in his administration. Oh, Jesus, not the Amazon. Come. No one believes Elon's about face. What is happening in America is fascism. Project 2025 is the playbook. The next step is to strip women of the vote. Well, they've been stripping women of a lot already. It is scary. And, we have a lot of reasons, I think, to be concerned about what's happening in America. And, again, going back to no bread, ma'am. I did. That was not in my text.
No, was not in the text.
All right, leave me one little piece. Look on your message. No carbs, no bread. All right. Lord Jesus, I can't stay on diet for this woman. But I was gonna say we also have to be concerned, because when you have major shifts politically that are, taking away rights of people around the world, again, don't think that there's some crazies who are not sitting here thinking that they could do the same thing in this country. So this is where you have this domino trickle-down effect as well, where we have to be very, very careful, and we have to watch. Just like democracy had a spread, fascism had a spread across Europe, communism had a spread. These things have a way of spreading. So let's be clear. We need to be concerned about the spread, even for the safety and protection of our own people, our own women and children. Yeah. Ms. Brenda says cricket has just started. That means she's out. Philip says in Cayman, unlike the USA, a landowner has an indefeasible right to their property. The government can acquire property by compulsory acquisition, but even then, the landowner has a right to protest through the courts. And if the government does not win, the property has to be valued, and the government has to pay the market value to the owner or another amount agreed by both parties. I always thought that there was mandatory compensation with compulsory acquisition. Philip is in the property area, but I think the issue a lot of times is it's a question of how much, because of course everybody wants the most value for their property. Government might say, for compulsory acquisition, I'm not sure if it's true market value that they have to pay you. So there's always like a little bit of a debate there. Damien says in the US, government can take property land from individuals, but it must be for public use and with just compensation. This is known as eminent domain. It's a power rooted in the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. Damien, I hope you're studying your Cayman Constitution as much as you are studying the US Constitution. I'm curious, Damien, have you ever lived in the US? I mean, do you have US connections? Because I know you love your Trump and you seem to be very interested in what's happening there, but I'm just curious. Alexi says in the UK, the Crown has superior interests in all land, but most times this is not applied. It only matters when the property becomes ownerless. Yes, council homes are owned by local council. You could buy a property leasehold. That doesn't mean that the freehold owner is the Crown. Okay. The freeholder could be a corporation, kind of like a strata to whom you have to pay fees. V the money, where you been? Says, I want property in Africa, Sierra Leone, and Ghana doing right to return program. Oh. Speaking of those countries, this morning I saw something come up on my news alert that in Zimbabwe, we went to Zimbabwe the other day, last year. And we were just there for a couple days. The monkeys come out of the bushes when you're driving by and walk across the street with their babies and stuff. Oh, so cute. But they are trying to, I kind of found this a little bit wild, to be honest. So they're trying to do reparations for the white farmers. Now listen to this. I mean, I had to take a pause and make sure I was reading this right. They were trying to do reparations for the white farmers who lost their property 25 years ago. And I'm like, hold on a second. Y'all getting reparations, but the black people who had their stuff stolen way before that have not gotten reparations. And anytime the conversation comes up about reparations, it's like a big fight. Like, why can't y'all just forget that slavery has happened? And then they say to the Native Americans, can't y'all just forget that we've killed half your population or more and taken all your land and this and that? We'll give you a casino, and we'll give you certain things that lead to abject alcoholism and whatever addictions and depression. And you guys have the highest suicide rate in America now because we've done all these horrible things to your people, but we're not going to give you any real reparations. So I'm like, how the man from 25 years ago got reparations? I'm like, huh? Listen, you either going to support reparations 100%, and that could be a lot of confusion. And how do we get reparations? And we're going back in history. Or you just say, you know what? Human beings are horrible. They're horrible to each other. Y'all kill and massacre in the name of everything: religion, Christianity, being a Muslim, being an atheist. Y'all are just, well, maybe atheists don't really do it because they don't believe in any religion, but y'all just do the most. Horrible to each other. So maybe we just draw a line in the sand and say, you know what, just stop. Let's try to be nicer to each other and then just leave it alone. But I can't imagine reparations for somebody from 25 years ago, but you refuse to look at the other people who were literally discriminated against and had everything stolen from them. I'm just like, this don't make no sense. What a mess. Liz Brenda says, I don't know about you, but I'm truly embarrassed by some of these people. I think most of us with intelligence know he's dumb as a nail. So to admire that is very sad. It really is. And I mean, smarter people, they find a reason to support. That's why some of them who were running politically, all of a sudden they try to pretend like they weren't Trump supporters when they were having private Trump parties and all kind of stuff in their mega mansions here in Cayman. I was just like, you see, that doesn't set well with me. Why do you support him? Oh, he's good for the economy. I'm like, he is? Look at the job numbers right now. I mean, I don't know what economy y'all are looking at, but if you go and look at the numbers don't support that. Greatest job losses. That's why he's getting all scared, like firing this person who was in charge of the reports. Here's this one. You want to talk about job numbers? Trump used tariffs to push security goals and benefit corporate allies, documentation shows. So this was Washington Post yesterday, talking about a lot of the internal government documents obtained by the Washington Post, because they digging. They're getting, I don't know if they're using FOI or how they're doing it, but they're digging into some real stuff. An array of national security goals, as well as the interests of individual companies, have been impacted by his tariffs. So his tariffs are not as willy-nilly as you think. Trade talks, he's using them as an opportunity to achieve objectives that went far beyond Trump's oft-stated goal of reducing the chronic U.S. trade deficit. In the first weeks of his presidency, when he was doing all this reciprocal tariffs, April the 9th, to allow for negotiations, officials drew up plans to press countries near China for a closer defense relationship, including the purchase of U.S. equipment and port visits. You see what I'm saying? It is not as straightforward and clean as this man wishes you to think. Well, we need to keep jobs in America. That's what my friend said to me recently. And I was like, oh, you think that's what the terrorist business is all about? Here's what one person said. This is the first time I've seen this type of request in a trade agreement. When you're sitting at the negotiating table, you're not talking about this stuff, says Wendy Cutler, who spent more than a quarter century in the office of the U.S. Trade Representative. The latest sign that Trump views tariffs as the Swiss Army knife of diplomacy came this week when he threatened to impose a 50% tariff on Indian goods to compel New Delhi to halt Russian oil purchases that the U.S. says supports Russia's war in Ukraine. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Yeah? the economy is not doing as great as, I mean, Lord Jesus. I don't know. I don't know where y'all get the economy's up. I'm like, Morning, caller.
Morning, Sandy. How are you doing today?
Not bad. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
I was reading something about these young guys fighting in the public, in the streets and so on.
Oh, yes, child. We can come to that here in a second. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not only that, but a lot of other things. You know what's happening to the people specifically that live in this island? The problem is we have, could be thousands of what we, the older people, call dry foot people. That means they have never had any time to go to sea. They haven't been in the sea except maybe to the beach. I can guarantee you, if we were to go back 30, 40, 50 years ago, you would have the most disciplined young men in this island if they were forced to go into the North Atlantic with national boat carriers for about 3 to 5 years. When they come back, you would see the most disciplined young guys into this island where you only got contact with your family by a letter, by mail, no other communication. The younger people in this island got too much idle time on their hands, a mobile phone, a car, an air-conditioned place. So we are in dire straits unless something really stern happened to the younger people. I am not convinced that we are going to see any changes positive for the younger generation. It's not pretty what's happening here. They got so much idle time, Sandy, idle time.
Yeah, I mean, listen, let's jump into it. I mean, you brought it up, and so let's have a minute now to talk about it. I had one of those young men. There's quite a few in that video. It was disgraceful. There's no two ways about it. And I had one of those young men call me yesterday saying, he was very, very apologetic about what happened. He was asking me if I could take the video down because now he's potentially, he might lose his job. He might lose his old government scholarship. He's like, oh, Miss Sandy, please, please, please. He was offering me money. The first thing he said when he called is that he would pay me money to take it down. I said, no. You don't buy your way out of situations in life. You're talking to Aunt Julie. I don't know when he got that from, but some governments believe that you just throw money at everything that resolves your problem. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. So there's no amount of money in the world that he thinks, that he could offer me. I said, listen, we have a policy here and it is what it is. Unfortunately, our policy is when we put up something like this, it's not coming down. I mean, sorry, you act out in public. There are consequences for that. And so he called, and kudos to him because he was actually very, very respectful. He called me twice and he begged and pleaded. And I said, I'm sorry, young man, I can't take it down because we have this policy, but if I start doing it and I do it for you, the next person that's caught stealing or something else, and they want their video to come down, what next? And so I think that as parents and community leaders and adults in our community, we have to help our young people navigate for themselves the world of life. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy. And I think there's a lot that has changed. So for example, years gone by, young men grew up very, very quickly. In their 20s, they already had families. They were off to sea. They'd seen half the world probably. They had to grow up because of the world that they were living in. I think now the pendulum has switched so far in the opposite direction that we have young people who are being babied, and we are to blame for that. So we canoodle them, we baby them. They don't know anything about real responsibility in life. Most of them are going off to university and stuff, which is a great opportunity, but they've never had any jobs. They don't know, we have them at home. We don't even make them do chores at home. So we can talk about, Carla, we can talk about the problems with our young people, but we can't talk about it in silo without accepting some degree of responsibility as parents. And Caymanian parents, in my opinion, are some of the worst when it comes to their male children. They have cuddled them, and I see it in numerous families, even in my own family. The male children get a pass. They don't have to do anything. They don't teach them how to cook. They don't have to know how to boil water. They don't have to sweep, pick up a broom. And the little girls, they're the ones like, oh, well, you have to do the chores. No, make all children do their chores. Hold them all accountable.
I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate
so, you know, yes, we look at them and they're a hot mess. A lot of them are out there in these streets doing all kind of foolishness, but we have to take some accountability for that as well, because they didn't become a hot mess on their own. No doubt we either contributed negatively to that, or we turned a blind eye. And turning a blind eye is a way to contribute to a problem as well. But it's a disgrace. You saw them fighting in the streets like hooligans.
Absolutely. And I want to add on to what you're saying. Remember when we were growing up, by far, and anything else you want to say, we were sort of what we would call managed too.
Mm-hmm.
Until your parents said, look, you know what happened? Let's put your name down with Miss Gwen. You need to go to sea.
Mm-hmm.
And we couldn't wait together because we thought it was something so nice seeing the other guys come home after a year or 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we couldn't wait together there. But once you got on that ship, you had very few Caymanians as shipmates. It was Norwegian, Scandinavian, Swedish, German, the German captain that I sailed with. I wasn't even 17 years old, 16 years and 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, when they stopped their feet at me and say, you did the wrong thing, I didn't have mama or papa or uncle or
That's
anybody.
right.
Listen, man, you hear about tough love.
Yeah.
And I am so glad that I, like other Caymanians, had the chance to make ourselves men with high quality and discipline. Coming back here after 24 months, the first trip, I was like, oh my God, I was a star. I mean, you were so respected by everyone because you know what about this thing? If you stayed 11 years and 29 days, people would say, oh, well, you know, he wasn't really gone a year and he was short of 2 days. That was like a disgrace. But if you made that year, 2 years, 3 years, wow, man, you was on top of the world. And I will say to these young guys, you know, take a trip, try to get into the North Atlantic, where you get in the typhoons, hurricanes on those ships, and the captain say, who's on watch? Stay on watch, okay? These guys have never had this kind of experience at all, Sandy. They are on land. Dry feet young men needs to get some good salt water in the face, and then they will come to reality. Yeah. So it's while the parents has a lot to blame, I couldn't agree, but there has to be some about turn in order for them to realize what life is about. Okay. So thank you so much for what you said and listening to me, and have yourself a pleasant day.
Thank you, my darling. Abby says, not even a little platinum, child. I got to stay off it for a minute now. Yep, we got to rein things back in. But listen to me. To the caller's point, right? Obviously, Johan said, no, but I'm not going off to sea here now. Yes, it's not really about that part of it. He said, which Caymanian parent in 2025 is going to register their children to go to sea and work on a boat? Hashtag not today, Bobo. It's not about that. It's about the fact that there's been an entire shift in how we parent, right? So yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's our seafarers' history. That's the thing in the past. Not too much of those opportunities are available anymore. These ships are decommissioned and all kinds of stuff. But the principles that we live by, we could still, in my honest opinion, incorporate some of those. Our young people now are all about partying and living their best lives. So let me see if I can find the fight video. When you see them out there living like this, it is just shocking that they would be in the streets behaving in this manner. And in fact, I said to the young man, you know, like I said, he was so pleasant. I'll give him that. He was very, very, very pleasant. You know, he's like, Miss Sandy, like, oh, my mom. And I said, well, you should have thought about these things before. You know, he said, okay, he was jumping in to try to break it up. And I said, let me tell you something. I said, you know, your actions have consequences in life, right? And he's like, but it's one little mistake. It's one little blip. And I said, I hear you. And what I would say to you is in life, someone is not teaching our young people that it only takes one little blip. It only takes one little situation to find yourself in a unimaginable situation. I said, listen, what if, let me play devil's advocate here, right? What if when you jumped in and jumped on that young man to, you know, you say separate the fight, whatever. What if his head, in the instance that you did that, his head actually hit that concrete and he died? This young man hadn't even thought about that. I'm like, you recognize that right now you wouldn't be talking to me? You'd be talking to a lawyer trying to fight for your life because, Bobo, you'd be going to jail. We got to start having some tough conversations with our young people. Even the discourse yesterday, I don't care what side of the pendulum you're on about whether or not oversized, obese people should be in a pageant. You know, oh, you're trying to change the world, and so you go against the green. I hold the pageant organizers responsible for allowing this kind of foolishness to happen in the first place. But as I listened, and the young lady's like, no, I'm not delusional. Well, nobody who is something ever says that they are. You know, it's hard for people to come to terms with what they are. You exhibited in a lot of the things that you said and how you shared about your experience. You did exhibit a bit of, you know, don't take it as an insult, but you were not realistic in your approach to this pageant and what your expectations were at all. I don't know who told you guys that a pageant is all about the sisterhood of the traveling pants. No, it's not. It is a competition based on your looks. Hello? Y'all get that? Okay? And there are beauty standards that the world has set for the world of pageantry. And so we are the laughing stock of the world when we allow certain people to even enter a pageant as a contestant. You might not like that, but those are the real world. That's the real facts. Now, somebody shared with me yesterday, and I want to do a big shout out to Lisa Hanna. I love her social media. She does a lot of very interesting and positive things. She did a video recently about those of you who like to buy these cheap, you know, what's the Chinese company called? Fifu, whatever, where you buy this ultra cheap clothing and whatever. And she's talking about the impact that this has on the world in terms of the environment, which I hadn't really even given that much thought, but it's very, very interesting. I'm going to find that clip and play that for you guys. Emmanuel says, truth, Miss Sandy, the ladies need to put their foot down and don't give themselves to any 30-plus-year-old able-bodied man still living with mama and papa. KY345 says, I applaud your stance on the uniform. I wish more parents would be as vigilant. I'm also surprised our government is not conscious of this in our public schools. Public and private schools, it's a problem. But it's a problem even sourcing the uniforms that are appropriate, in my opinion. So listen, I tell my daughter, it has to come down a certain length or you're going to be wearing pants. For some reason, she doesn't like to wear the shorts. She claims they're uncomfortable. I said, everything you don't want to wear, AliExpress, all them. The one that does the clothing too, I forget what that one's called. Oh, it's uncomfortable. Well, I say you're going to be uncomfortable because it comes down to the knees. But she has a very itty bitty waist, so we have to go and take it in. But we found some adjustable ones, so those are good. So I think if we adjust a little thing, she's fine. But anyway, listen to what Lisa Hanna had to say. And I thought that this was very much on point with our discourse yesterday.
Took the Miss World crown off my head and placed it on the head of Miss India that night back in 1994. My reign had ended in an instant. The cameras rolled, the music swelled, and the credits began to fade. And then quietly but decisively, what you didn't see was that there was a red rope pulled across the stage. She stood in front of it, and I actually stood behind it. And just like that, I was ushered off the stage. And in that moment, yeah, I could have crumbled, because after a year of representing the world, I was no longer in the spotlight. It was no longer mine. But I didn't fall apart because I knew something vital. It was never the crown that defined me. It was the experience and what I was going to use from that experience to go forward. Because I refused to live in a year that had already passed. I was secure in who I was, crown or no crown. And that same kind of inner clarity guided me throughout my life. And perhaps what allowed me so many years later, in February 2016, after watching my party lose a general election, to quietly pick up the phone and call my permanent secretary at the Ministry of Youth and Culture and tell her, P.S., I'll be in early tomorrow morning to hand in my cabinet pass and all the trappings that came with being a minister of government. I didn't want any drama. I didn't want a press conference, just grace. And when she said, Minister, you don't have to come in tomorrow morning, I said, no, I must, because it's a transition. And when I thanked the staff, they said to me, and she said to me, Minister, would you like a team to escort you out? I thanked her and I said, no, I'm fine. Because titles are fleeting. And whatever you don't fully own or whatever you're not in control of is always temporary. You may be basking in the glow of a job title now or a political appointment. You may be basking in a moment of fame or prestige, but it can all be taken away because it was never truly yours. You see, real independence doesn't come from holding a title. Real independence is knowing who you are actually without one. And true freedom comes when you no longer need the world to validate your worth. It comes when you can humbly walk forward unshaken, unescorted, because your sense of self isn't borrowed, it's built. So yeah, wear the title if you have one, serve it well, but never let the title wear you. Because power borrowed is never as strong as power owned.
Wow, that is so powerful. I'm going to share that on our social media platforms. But listen, what did you say? Power borrowed versus powered owned. Yeah, she is speaking power into that. And y'all can take a lesson from that. That is so appropriate even to the discussion that we were having yesterday. You don't let positions define you. And that's why so many of our MPs right now are even struggling. Oh, they didn't get a ministerial position. Who am I if I'm not a minister? Aren't you the same person you were without a ministerial position? I'm confused. But people let titles define who they are. And this is where, even with our young people, we need help to really help them to navigate this world. They're living this life on social media. They want the social media clout. They want this, they want that. And it's a very dangerous space to be in, because if that, whatever they're attached to in terms of the title and the position, if that is taken away from them, they feel like they have nothing. They don't even know their own self-worth. Yes, those are very, very powerful words. Trust me. Our young people out here engaging in this. This is a disgrace, right? Now, I noticed the interesting thing about this is there's quite a few, probably more private school kids there trying to be like, what are y'all doing? They were just standing up like, boy, we're not getting involved in this. And other people decide to get involved, try to pull apart. I see your comment, Ms. Morna. Good morning, Ms. Morna. Says, well, if they don't do anything, then it becomes a situation of, oh, they just stand up watching. Let me tell you something. You can't get involved in this and think, honestly, that you're helping anybody. The two guys who originally started fighting, the best thing for you to do in terms of helping them is to call the police. Because when you get involved in this, you become part and parcel of the problem. You can't, I don't know if they've been drinking, if they're just drunk, if they're stupid. I don't know what it is that they're out here doing. What I do know is there's no controlling an out of control situation like this, especially when you're not the police and you're not trained to do so. So you see the one guy, he tried to pull him apart. Next thing you know, another one scuffling over here, and then somebody else tries to jump in, and he tries to pull them apart. It's chaos, right? So yes, oh nobody not trying to stop them. Listen, it's not my job to be walking around the streets of Cayman trying to stop hooligans from fighting each other at the risk of getting myself in trouble. Like I said, now people are worried about, oh, I have a good job, I have an internship, I have a scholarship, I have this, I have that I have to be concerned about. You think the persons that you're trying to separate have anything that they probably care much about? Not likely. They wouldn't be on the streets acting like this if they did. And this young lady, I mean, kudos to her for trying to, stop them and get in between. But God knows if one of them had knocked her out, I don't even know what then would have been the situation. So I'm saying to our young people, it looks like, I don't know if they went to an event or is this just Al Kebab after hours? What is going on in that plaza this time of night? Only God knows, for this many young people to be congregated in one area. But this is a dangerous, go to the other Al Kebab, grab your sandwich and go home. This is a recipe for disaster. And as I said, it takes 1 minute, not even a minute, a split second. We've seen these types of things happen before. Somebody accidentally falls, hit their head on that concrete, and they're dead. Remember the guy at Bananas who got killed? I think he was Indian or Sri Lankan, was fighting. And then Caymanian guys were involved, the Parchment brothers and some other fella there. I can't remember his name now. But they went to jail for that. Now, I'm sure when they started fighting, they were thinking, oh, this is going to just be an average street fight. We ain't got no guns. We're not going to kill nobody. And you still end up killing somebody. A guy fell and hit his head and hemorrhaged out. So, young people, there is something to be said. I keep telling y'all nothing good happens after midnight. Y'all need to up that to about 10 o'clock. There is something to be said for staying away from certain places where other young people are congregating. They're under the influence of God knows what. They're under the influence of drugs, drinking, and stupidity, and youthfulness, which a degree of stupidity comes with that. Right? What were they fighting about? Now, somebody else sent me a follow-up video. Let me see if I can find that one, honey child. Thank you guys so much for all of the linky links, because y'all keep me informed about what's going on. So there's an after video where the police eventually showed up. And so I said, was anybody arrested? And they said, nope. They said that one person, he was trying to flee from the police. He got warned, and then the rest just left. And then there was a lot of police out there. So there is a subsequent video, which we're going to put up on social media. Listen, when you're out in these streets and you are acting the fool, let me be very, very clear. You don't get any sort of consideration for, oh man, I just made a mistake. This is the world that we now live in. Your mistake becomes fodder on social media. Stay out of these streets. Everything you do in public, assume that it is being recorded. So the police came in full force trying to break this up. Poor Al Kebab. They're like, y'all just making us look bad. What if they even bought an Al Kebab wrap? So the police eventually showed up and they did their thing. They were out there in full force. But it's disruptive to businesses. It's, come on, young people, do better. Y'all are home from university. Don't use this time to ruin your life to the point where you may not even be able to go back. Just relax. You want to hang out with a few of your friends. I know you're young and you want to have a good time. No one is saying that you can't do that. But when you have this amount of young people together, it's a recipe for disaster. It's coming. And so that's why, be sensible, be safer. Your parents need to be having conversations with you guys in terms of, I'm surprised. I don't know. What do y'all talk about with your children? Y'all don't have these conversations with your young people? I know poor Aunt Lottie, she used to embarrass me all the time. With, all sorts of conversations that I didn't want to be having with her because, of course, I thought she was 100 years old. She wasn't. But she had the birds and the bees conversations, even when I was like, oh my God, I don't want to hear this. No, she's like, I don't care what you want to hear. We're going to talk about it. Because these young people, they too slack out here in these streets. I'd be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Good morning, Johan. Moxham.
Morning, Auntie Sunday.
Hello. How are you?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but fights happen all the time. Fights happened in the glory days of Cayman. Fights happen today, and yeah, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. But you know, thankfully nobody got hurt, nobody got killed, nobody got damaged. There was no damage to property.
But it could have easily happened. That's my point.
No, it could easily, and the points that you're making are spot on. There's no debating that. Only a fool would argue with you about what you're saying there. But I since we're talking about, you know, criminality and impacts of things on people's lives, do you or anybody out there have an update on the situation involving Crazy Larry when he assaulted that young Caymanian child and young man in his car? Because here we are having a conversation about you know, people that probably had too much to drink. I don't know the circumstances, but we got Crazy Larry running around the place as free as a bird. So if I had to rank what was important, dealing with Crazy Larry, bringing charges against Crazy Larry, given all of the video evidence that has been provided or that we've seen just on your platform alone, the question is, respectfully to the RCIPS, what are doing? How long does it take for you to figure out that that man assaulted a young Caymanian, attacked him in his car? All the audio is there, all the visual is there, and yet nothing to show for it. Because here's the situation. Had it been a Caymanian that gone into Crazy Larry's car and dragged him out or boxed him up, there would be no ends of the earth that we would go to make an example out of that Caymanian person. So let's just have one standard. And if you can call, I don't know, your best friend, the DG, your best friend, the commissioner, and help us understand what they're doing. Because had that been your GG or one of my boys, it would not go as pleasant as it's going now. So please give us an update and thank you, because the fight is the fight, but there are bigger fights out there. And the lack of accountability when a foreign national can drag a Caymanian out of their car and assault them, and there is nothing to show from it. And don't tell me the DPP are reviewing the file or the police are reviewing the video content. There were people in the videos that you posted that said, I was here, I'm a witness. They had videos. So respectfully, as a law-abiding citizen, what are doing?
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And just, I think it was last week or week before, I did follow up and I still haven't gotten any response. The last we heard that it was with the DPP's office, but it's been a hot minute now. And, you know, I keep pressing them, and I agree that we need to know more of what the latest update is with this situation. So let me message them again. At some point, I get sick and tired of me messaging them, I suppose. Maybe we need to message and email Mr. Simon Davies at the DPP's office to inquire about why he's taken so long to make a decision. Because the RCIPS can't make a decision for the DPP's office. So if the file is with them, why is it not being prioritized? All right, give me a minute here. I'm going to do that as we speak. Because yes, I mean, I agree with you, Han, that this is important. But, you know, I feel like they have been obviously ignoring my messages because I have not gotten any update. So maybe I'm asking the wrong person. I don't know. But no, we're not going to allow this situation to go unanswered. And I think that, you know, it's not about one or the other. So we can our brain has the capacity to do multiple things. So yes, we can talk about the young people fighting in these streets and trying to save them from themselves and about how bad that looks. But at the same time, we can also ask for accountability as it relates to geriatric Larry over here assaulting a Caymanian young man in the streets. Both are equally ridiculous, and Al, I'm outraged by both of them. I'm not going to pick one over the other. And for different reasons, they're very, very egregious. The situation with Larry, as you well know, we protested in the streets. We protested on here. We had our comments to make about it. And no, we're not going to let up on him. And in fact, we were supposed to start a petition, as I recall, about getting Larry off this island. And that has not been done. Now, speaking of Larry, I got at least another, 15 minutes or so. So let me talk about Larry a little bit more and some of the ridiculousness that Larry has been up to, that I have also reported to the authorities, and that I expect them to do something about it. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy.
Morning, dear. How you doing?
Morning, Kim, all the listeners.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Answer to the question. Mm-hmm. They're keeping silent and hope that we will forget about it.
Oh, no. Well, we're not doing that.
We shall not, like everything else. They know that most Caymanians have short memory. Mm-hmm. And they would go like, oh, just stall it. And eventually they'll forget about it. Nope, you're not going to forget. Justice needs to be served. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, we're not forgetting. And of course, as the caller rightfully says, they're used to that. They're used to us forgetting and moving on to the next thing 15 minutes later. And we're not going to do that. So we're going to stay on top of it. But let me tell you the other complaints that I've been getting about Larry. And in fact, I have to mention this because I'm going to post this up on the website. I think it came in when I was at holidays. So to be fair, I'm still catching up on some messages, right? But I got a huge complaint about Larry and all the shenanigans that he has been up to. And I'm sorry, but I can't let this go. Larry is an absolutely horrible person. And he's a horrible person even as a boss. He supposedly owns a company here. And Lawrence McGean, as his proper name is, has been treating his workers really, really poorly. In fact, one of his workers from Jamaica had a severe injury while working on a pirate-style boat that Larry recently purchased. And the worker had cut his foot, which clearly highlights the total lack of proper safety measures, this person says. But then Larry's response to that, he's not the kind of person that we want in Cayman. Let me be crystal clear. He don't have status yet. He was supposed to be applying for permanent residency. Let us do everything in our power to stop this man from getting to status, because then when he gets status, we're all going to be like, oh, shoot. Now there's nothing that we can do about Larry. We can do something about Larry now. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra. How are you doing today?
Not bad. How are you?
Good. I'll just broach what you said, the conversation which Johan just brought forward about this law. Listen, none of us in here in Cayman should be even surprised about the slow walking as a tactic, which is the common modus operandi when any of these subject matters, any of these situations come about, because of the equation that we have here in Cayman, where those with the most money are the ones who actually get justice. And it's as simple as that. And it also has to do with the power that many expatriates have here, far beyond what any member of the electorate could ever dream of having, because the power and the influence is gained in Cayman by undue influence. Okay, now just leave that part right there. But I just want to broach the subject with this kerfuffle a la kebab, right? Firstly, I get tired, Sandra. I get tired of hearing our elders, our seniors talking as if they wasn't having bust-ups and having shell boxing matches and beating each other in fights over whatever reason from way back in the morning. Okay. So if anybody wants to be real about any of this, just stop. Just stop pretending or any better. There are different circumstances in this more modern world. Yes, there are different issues and problems in this modern world. But let's just stop pretending that people wasn't having bust-ups from morning, right? Now, this footage that is shown, I will not agree that all of the participants in that fight should be looked at or considered in any way called the same way. You had two in mutual combat, right? And then one piece of crap decided when he see the man down that he's going to pile on like every other coward gangster in this world and try to hit the man when he's already in battle with another man, right? And that is cowardice and worthlessness exemplified. But you see the man who came and stopped that from happening and wrenched that guy who was coming in to get unfair shots in that fight. Grabbed him by his neck and damn well did what he damn well should have done. Whether you're talking about from a social standpoint or simply from your friend in the conflict. I don't know what the conflict was about. Honestly, God, I don't care. And the leader was right. People have been beating each other, fighting each other on a Saturday night for time memorial.
Right.
And right. It's only because people got cell phones now that this can turn into something like this. We have social problems in Cayman, Sandra. Right?
Of course. And to your point, we've always had them.
Exactly.
But little has been done about it is a problem.
As if it never happened before.
Yeah.
Because that's BS. Right? That's BS. And like what Anna Briggs said, the only thing that has changed is the venue, really.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it used to be what Anna said, it was a house instead of some falafel place. And this is what happens. You're 100% valid in what you say that, yes, when you enter into that kind of situation, yeah, somebody can fall the wrong way and they can be dead right there and then. And you will, as a member or as a participant in that conflict, you will be responsible for that person's death. Not first degree murder.
Right.
But you will still be responsible for that bad end consequence.
Yes.
Right? Sure, absolutely. But when I saw that video, I personally was proud of the man or the young man who wrenched off that person who was coming in while somebody else was on top of them and trying to strike them. Kind of move a piece of crap. So I give props. I give props to the guy who said, no. If these two go fight, then they're gonna fight. He wasn't that one who came in and started striking the other man like his hand was a damn construction hammer. Right? That was wrong. If somebody does that, they need to be dealt with first and foremost. If people are in mutual combat, that's one thing. If people in mutual combat are going to be double attack, triple attack by people, that's another.
Yes.
And you cannot fault the young man who came in and hauled that one straight the hell off and put him in a headlock. You cannot look at all of this as one big thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, that's my point. That was the perspective that I took of the overall situation that happened there. Anyway.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Some good salient points there for sure. Thanks, Jonathan.
All right.
Yes, I mean, to Miss Lisa's point here, she says, well, how do you know? Hi, Lisa. She says, good morning, Sandy. We don't know if the parents or guardians don't talk and advise their children that trouble is easy to get into, but hard to get out of, and to watch their company. Okay, I agree that we don't necessarily know, but I think there's a lot of evidence, even if it is just anecdotal evidence, that these young people have a lot lacking in the parenting department. And that's not every parent, to be fair, Lisa. I agree. There are some parents who are out there doing an amazing job and their young people still not listening. And what you got to do, especially when they're an adult, right? You can't tie them to the bedpost and say, well, you're not going out to Al Kebab tonight, or going out to the movies with your friends, or even going out to the bar once they're over 18 to have a drink. Shaka Zulu says, let me play devil's advocate and ask a simple question. What do you expect when you put so much power in the hands of the foreigners, e.g. the DPP's office and the judicial system? # just saying. Well, it's not even about that. I think that we just need to have some standards in place which have never happened. And I don't care who was in charge of the DPP's office. There has never been a right. When you send the file, when the police do the investigation, they prepare the file and they send it to the DPP's office. There is a week turnaround period. How about we just have standards in place? I mean, knock me over ball-headed here, but would that make too much sense? One, especially on simple files like this ain't no complicated case, 1 week would be sufficient. I can tell you, Shaka Zulu, that on a regular basis, people are showing up at the DPP's office, showing up in court, and they are showing up in court only to find out that the magistrates are saying to the DPP's office, can you please get it together? Because they're not doing a fantastic job of anything. They're showing up to court. The files are not prepared. The files are not ready. They're delaying defense attorneys. It is a free-for-all. It's 9:29. Let's cut off the radio. We're supposed to be off radio, but just to make sure, it is a free-for-all shit show with the legal system in a lot of instances. And a lot of it flows from the prosecution, from the DPP's office. I mean, I sit there and I watch the magistrates and judges lambast the DPP's office for their slackness. And there is no accountability. Even up to the other day, Alric wrote a story about this, where the magistrate was like, we are sick and tired of being sick and tired. Why don't you guys have your files again? No explanation. They sit there and they stand up there, like a deer caught in the headlights. And these people are being paid good money to perform. And you can't bring a simple file to the court office? You got your list of, okay, these are the things that are on the cause list for the day, the criminal matters. And yet, you show up, oh, I'm sorry, the file isn't ready. Why the hell you had it listed for the day then? Sometimes these defense attorneys are chasing the DPP's office. We still haven't received the charges. We still haven't received the charge sheet. We're waiting. And there are times when the judges are like, if you don't come next time with it, we gonna have a problem. No, we should have a problem from day one when you show up with your slackness. So, I think that there is a lot of slackness coming out of that office, and there really is no accountability. So who's going to clean it up? Well, they keep hiring these people from the UK who seem incapable of cleaning it up. I'm just saying. Maybe you need to hire Kim Anden for the job. Maybe they're capable of cleaning up. You won't know until you try. That legal counsel, whoever you guys are, I know the governor's on it and some other people that hire the head of the DPP. Stop hiring these fucking foreigners who come here and don't have a clue what it is that they're doing. I ain't got no problem with them being foreigners if they knew what the hell they were doing. But you're going to have no clue what you're doing and on top of it be a foreigner? And so we going to pay you top dollar to do what? No, sorry. To promote your friends and to bring all your friends from London and put them up on a pedestal and yada, yada, yada. No. Nope. Time for heads to roll. And we have to have, again, some serious accountability worked in. These are civil servants at the end of the day, right? Mr. Francis Anderson, have you ever considered what is really happening over at the DPP's office? How is it that a simple assault file they could have for months and can't come to a friggin' conclusion about whether or not to press charges? It ain't that hard. We all saw the friggin' videos. Meanwhile, they have proceeded with cases that had less evidence. They knew they didn't have a chance to win in hell. When they get to court, they're like, oh, we have to concede. Yeah, we ain't got no case really. So let's just drop it. But they still made a ruling on that, didn't they? They made a ruling and they advised the police, let's proceed. So what's the difference with this case? Why are you mucking around? Good morning, caller.
Morning, Sandra. I haven't called in a long time.
Oh, honey, Chad, I just got your message up on the screen. I was just reading it.
Yeah, as you would know, both of these topics are dear to my heart because we did protest both for the riffraff and regarding the young Jackson boy. I'm totally disgusted. The words, I don't have the words this morning to describe how I feel. After so much effort was put into both of the protests, the second protest was very poorly attended. There were more police observing us than there were protesters as far as the young Jackson man is concerned. I think his grandfather was there, and his grandmother did send a message saying that for legal reasons, they were not able to attend. I understand that. And if there are legal reasons, and he may have been advised by his lawyer not to attend, it has nothing to do with him. But, the fact that they are still running up and down in this monstrosity, I don't even know what type of car it is, and that nothing has been done as far as work permit is concerned. He hasn't been deported. I have made myself very verbal to my representative concerning Chris Alpers, the Geronimo. He is a Geronimo. The Guantanamo Bay gate that is still sitting there. It's just absolutely, I feel hopeless. As if everything we did in vain, and we took a lot of criticism for what we did. As we were called troublemakers. We were called. We were there for attention. We were attention seekers. You're aware of all of that drama. I won't go into that. And we were trying to make a point. And thus far, nothing has been done. And we have new representatives. We have a new government. And I am saying today, I want results. I didn't vote, nor did I endorse to have them stay on this island, especially the Alpers who are in West Bay. I saw the representative for West Bay, Miss Hunter, Parliamentary Secretary Hunter. She did a video saying we now have a new West Bay dock. The West Bay dock is not being occupied or used by West Bayers. It's being used by divers. So it was built, but it's not built for. It may have been built for the intention of West Bayers, but it's being used by divers. Whereas Chris Alpers and his crew, they have they're going about business as usual. The Guantanamo cage is still there. I'm really, really disgusted, and I want somebody today in this present to do something, or I'm going to feel it verbal, like on Facebook, social media, or more your show. And we should have done a petition. I think someone that was in our group was supposed to start a petition.
And that didn't happen,
and it did not happen. But even something has to happen. Chris Alpers needs to go.
Well, the unfortunate situation is with Chris Alpers, unless the law is changed in relation to the revocation of status, there's nothing that we can do about him. Larry is a very different cup of tea because he does not have PR yet. Now I understand that as this was happening, he was in the process of applying for PR. So this is why we need to put pressure on the Larry situation, the Larry and Linda situation, because we cannot allow him to get that piece of paper.
No, we can't. And I have been told, and I have inquired, and actually with more than one representative, my representative, and I have inquired with two other ministers. One is now a parliamentary secretary, but he was once the premier and once the minister, and that would be Mr. Wayne Panton, and obviously Honourable Ralston, and I've inquired with Honourable Cathy as well. And they all have told me the same thing, Deborah. It's almost impossible to revoke a 2003 status grant. He's a 2003 status. He's a 2003 status grant. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. But nothing may be done about his status, but something can be done about the Guantanamo Bay cage. It's a disgrace that is sitting there, and the dock that was built supposed for West Bay is now being occupied by divers. And Larry and his wife have to go. They got to go.
Yep. I agree.
And nobody's sitting down, turning their head, turning a blind eye to the situation. We did not test in vain. We don't stand up in the hot sun for the glory of doing it.
Yeah. I agree.
When I heard that topic come on this morning, I said, I have to call it. So anybody today that is listening, that is of the present government, please pay attention. We put you in. We want different results. That's what we put for. Promised us immigration reform. You promised us many things. Now we want the results.
Thank you.
All right, my dear.
All right. Have a good one. Yes. I mean, lots of things. I know, like I said, I'm giving them time because these things didn't get broken overnight. They're certainly not going to be fixed overnight. So things are underway. But yes, I mean, wow. Good morning, caller.
Hey, good morning, Sandy.
Morning,
good morning, Kenan. And also just want to say good morning to Miss Debbie that just called in. Totally agree with Miss Debbie. Personally, I was not on the island when both protests took place because certainly I would be out there, especially for that young Kenyan man. Young Kenyan, he's a young man, and what is happening with him. And I totally agree. We as Kenyans, we sit in our cars, we sit in our offices, we sit at home, we sit by the bars, we go to restaurants, we go everywhere, we run our mouth and we don't do anything. But you know what I reflect on while I was listening to Miss Debbie talk? I remember when Mr. Dart was moving into Cayman. And I remember the overwhelming of protests that was taking place, the petitions alone by Caymanians that did not want DART to come into Cayman. I remember going to CIBC Bank down by those plazas down there by where Eats is, those group of plazas there, CIBC used to be there. I remember going there to go to the bank. Someone met me by the door. Can you sign this petition to stop Mr. Dart from coming to Cayman? I remember going to CNB out in town by the building across from the court's office. It was like grocery stores. Everywhere you went, it was, let's stop Mr. Dart. And it was all Caymanians doing it. I mean, seriously. But I am like, hold on. What about this young Caymanian? And like what Miss Debbie say, I don't know who, it was that was supposed to put the petition together. But hey, listen, Miss Debbie, I am going to ask Sandra to send me your number. And if it means, my job is demanding. I travel a lot. I have a lot on my plate. But if I need to get involved and push for the issue, then someone needs to do it because someone needs to stand up for this young man. And not just us. I am appealing to all of the young Caymanian men and women in your 20s. I don't know how old this young man is right now, but I am appealing to everybody of youth. Stand up for this young man if you are in his age bracket, because your voice right now will make a difference because you are the future of our country. And let us go strong on our politicians. Let us go strong on DPP. Let us go strong on everybody to say, we want justice for this young man. So Sandra, WhatsApp me Miss Debbie's number, please. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks, my dear.
Thank you.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Hi. You and that last call, I was saying this to her the other day. You have very, very similar phone numbers. So I don't have anybody saved in this phone, but your numbers, the last 4 digits are the same, but they're just in different orders.
And you know what is very strange? I got a call from that same caller one day calling for someone else, and they realized they had dialed the wrong number. So the person they were calling, they told me that that person's number is 1 digit off from mine. So
wow.
My number is one of the very old numbers. I guess you realize that. Anyway, sorry to call you twice, and I'm interrupting my cricket to call. So
that means you're not paying attention to the cricket too tough this morning.
Listen, it made me miss the toss this morning. Anyway, I got sitting down the toss, because if I'm not there, we don't have any luck with that toss. Anyhow, we lost the toss.
Oh,
but
no.
We can win. Yeah, but we can win the game. Anyway, Sandra, when you get a minute, you can look at it, or you can speak to somebody like Dr. Steve. Because when Cayman statuses came into play, it was back in the 70s. Okay?
Right.
And they were all irrevocable. They hadn't put any kind of conditions on them. But I can't remember how many years afterwards, when they looked at the law again, probably later on in the 70s, then they started to put conditions on them. And even if they are granted through cabinet, there is one particular thing that applies in both. And that is, if you have been given status, you cannot and you must not disrespect this country and its people. So if these politicians want the easy way out to say, oh, they can't do it, then anybody that voted for them should write that down and remember it. There's nothing like a can. I'm going to remind you of something that I consistently said when I was saying we need to put a moratorium on status grant for 20 to 30 years. I'm not calling anybody's name now, not picking any fights, but a particular caller to your show kept saying, oh, we can't do that. But guess what? I asked for 20 years, we get to 22, okay? So don't say can't. But that was my response. How do you know we cannot do it? We have not done it before. If all of the other territories can flat out refuse them, then why can't we put a time limit on it? And the other territories are not, with the exception of Bermuda, they are not overpopulated like us. So if they can use us as an example and take that wisdom and protect themselves, we have made the mistake. You can always correct things. The only thing that you can't undo is death, because that's final. And I remember hearing my parents say, Can't is a lazy man who doesn't want to work. So for me, there's nothing we can't do. We can do anything. We just have to want to do it. And I say, this is a matter now for your previous caller. They got 3 ministers in West Bay. They voted for them. Now go and tell them why you voted for them. And you don't want to hear answers about hands are tied and, oh, they can't do nothing. No, go read the law. Go and read the Constitution. And if you don't understand it, get a lawyer to explain it to you. And I would suggest a Caymanian lawyer who has Cayman at heart.
Thank you so much, caller.
Already. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we got to do something, that's for sure. All right, folks, I'm keeping an eye on the time because I do have to go do some pre-op stuff ahead of my little knee surgery on Thursday. So I've decided to go ahead with this procedure because I can't take the pain anymore, honey child. Good morning, caller. Hello.
Morning, Miss Sandy.
Hi.
Morning, Cayman.
Good morning.
Miss Sandra.
Yes, ma'am.
There's a conversation that none of us don't want to have. And this is the conversation. They're going to provoke the Caymanian people, you see? And when they don't take the law up in hand to do what is right, like the likes of Larry that pulling people children out of car. Now, let me tell you something. I'm going to switch up the platform a little bit and bring ignorance. Because we're not supposed to, you know, because we came mankind, right? But let's bring ignorance into it. Suppose now, we as a people start to violate Larry and where he live. 40, 50 of us out there, licking down house, burning down car. What's that? What then? What law is in place to control us then? Come on, could we talking about our children, you know? And if they're not taking it serious in hand.
And you better believe then the police would be arresting people. Yeah,
But who they going to arrest?
The
Do they have
Caymanians,
space for 40 and 50 of us up northward? Because northward is overpopulated now. Check it out.
Child, they gonna push us. They gonna push us.
Push us where?
Where to
push
keep
us
the
where?
Where to keep the
And by the
Cubans?
And by the time them laser ass police get there, we done running gone. You see, because we don't have to go out there showing our face. So at the end of the day, I hear you get up, and I hear you from last year till now. And it's keep peace talking, peace talking. And as Kimanian people, we try to keep peace, you know. But what I have to ask, the people that bring Larry there, along with the government, along with the police force, what is going to happen when we take ignorance to it instead of being passive? That's my question. When we start to get violent, Miss Sandy, what is going to happen then? Because we can only stay calm for a period of time. You see what I'm saying? And that man should have been gone a long time ago. And there's a saying in a "Dupping know who frightened." Because should he had licked one of them Wowler's children, you see, if you had licked one of our ignorant Kimanian people children, now let me tell you something, Lara would have been missing a long time, and we wouldn't have to worry about no taking no papers away. Lara would have gone missing a long time, and he wouldn't be found in Cayman, because Cayman people do get ignorant, and we do react, you see, and we can get violent. But that's just my innocent 2 cents to them.
Yeah.
What happens when we start to take the matters in our own hand and we start to get violent and deal with Larry like how we see? Because he couldn't do that in the States on Miss Sunday. In the States, he couldn't have did that. The minute he walk up to that car, they shoot him dead because they got licensed firearms. That young man did not deserve that. Larry don't need to be there any longer for that young man to be bumping into him in no supermarket or anywhere. And everything that's like Larry, that is what Cayman needs to get to know. We need to start getting rid of these people. It is sad to say it, but it is our truth. Better we stay there amongst each other and we wasn't dragging one another out of no cars. So at the end of the day, what happens when we Caymanian start to take the law into our own hands? What's going to happen then?
Yes. Thank you, caller.
Have a good day,
I
love.
appreciate it. Thank you. And this is when people are speaking from a place of frustration, because obviously we're not going to advocate violence, because then we would be no better than Larry, right? And once you start down that slope of approaching things in an unlawful way, it is hard to ever go back. It's hard to ever rein it in. So we expect as Caymanians the system to work, but I am in total agreement with her frustrations. I understand where those sentiments are coming from. And this is why I always say people can cuss and criticize this platform all they want. But one thing I know is we're giving people the opportunity to express themselves. And sometimes that's all people need, because the alternative to shutting people down and not allowing them a voice in their own country and to be able to express themselves, the alternative not gonna be pretty. That's all I'm saying. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Sandra. Again, I know that you're going to get sick of me, but that's fine. Listen, everybody needs to understand this simple fact of what we live under here in the Cayman Islands. The entirety of the justice system is not owned and controlled by the government, elected or civil service of the Cayman Islands. It is owned and controlled by the Crown, the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, and by extension, the governor. Okay, so we always in Cayman, I keep on hearing it and I keep on saying this thing, we have no control over it. The only control that the elected members of government have, single part of the entirety of our judicial and our justice system, is the funding. That is all we have. And until left Cayman people begin to understand that and accept and recognize and address that reality, then this type of thing will continue to foment, will continue to masticize, will continue to become more and more a point of discontent, more and more a point of ill will, ill feeling. We can speak all we want about this, that, and the other politician and or their lack of action. However, the system that we live under disallows it in the first place. So we constantly have this talk of oh, we're going to hold it, we're going to tell this politician or that politician that they have to do this or that. And may I remind everybody here, especially the ones who want to bring color into it, it's the same said DPP, okay, who is slow walking the investigations into politicians and their slackness. Okay, so don't forget that.
Yes.
Right? Who are certainly not white-skinned people. Right? They're not. So start falling down this trap of thinking it's color this or color that. And stop muddying the waters by bringing color this and color that into every damn thing. Because it is not. If Cayman wants to have a just vision and work wisely, yet confidently towards the making those evolutionary changes to the structures which we are. In the absence of that, you might as well go and piss into the headwinds of a hurricane, because it makes no damn sense if people do not understand these simple realities and accept them for what they are. Not one iota of any part of the justice system in Cayman is owned and controlled by the Cayman Islands or the people or our elected government or our civil service government, except by way of sometimes corruption. And we accept this reality, yet still we won't complain about it and don't want to look at that reality, which is the causative factor of it. So, you want change?
All right. Thank you, Jonathan.
Fuck up, buttercup. Fuck up, buttercup. Later.
All right, thank you. Melita says, "Child, I dropped my broom and run." Sandy, try and give that caller a double kaboom. Definitely. Caller, big up yourself. Caller is correct, says Brenda. Don't back people against the wall. And Miss Brenda says color is a bit a part of it, because many of them think that they're equal to their handlers. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra, and good morning, Cayman.
Morning, my dear.
The Laras and the Lindas. I ain't going to stay long. I tell you about another Lara and Linda that is in West Bay. Let me tell you about a Lara and a Linda. 2 days ago, Sandra, the road at Birch Tree Hill, Andresen Road, and then it turns into Conch Point. There on Andresen Road, there are CCTV cameras. This white man and his wife purchased what was, once you turn out of Andresen Road, on the left going towards Conch Point. On the right, you look over and see where Miss Nina Orritt's house used to be. This white man purchased it. It's house number 16. 2 days, day and night, he parked his two little crappy imported vehicles, 2 pieces of junk, a Toyota and a Chevrolet, blocking on Andresen Road, the left side when you would be coming out of it. I took pictures for the 2 days and I had a nap. The other evening, I saw him sitting on his phone on his plastic Adirondack chair on his little porch. And I said, oh yeah, I'm going to deal with you if this car is here tomorrow. These cars are here. Yesterday evening, at after 4, I think it was, I went out for my exercising. And the man had came in and parked one of the cars, just parked the one, come off of the road and parked it right blocking the road. Half of the road was being blocked. I picked the phone up and I called the police station in West Bay. And I said, you need to go tell this man to move his vehicles. He's home and here are the license plate numbers. An hour later when I came back from my walk, his cars were gone. There are too many Larrys and Lindas in this country. And he has a big old property, I told the police officer, with a open-built garage with 3 spaces for his 2 vehicles and his scooter. And now I see he's parked one of those right up against the edge of the road in his property. This is the entitlement these foreigners that have come here and bought property think they own Cayman. And they treat us like dirt, and some of them don't care. And all of these Larrys and Lindas that we have here in West Bay, I am putting every one of them on notice. Just like I put the Larrys and the Lindas at 233 Callistic Conch Point Road, that yellow house next to Conch Point Home. I put them on notice also that this is Cayman and we are had enough of this stupid mentality where you think that you are entitled to block public roads and do as you feel in Cayman and carry on with your foolishness, pulling our children out of vehicles on public roads. No, no, no. To all the Larrys and Lindas, I hope you are listening. But to even the government this morning, the people of this country voted for change, and I hope all 19 MPs are listening. We have 3 ministers in the District of West Bay. I am going to call and I'm going to put a call out. We need change in this district, and it has to start with our MPs listening to what the people are going on about. There are certain homes in West Bay that are blasting music to disturb neighbors all hours of night, and the police is driving by with rolled up cars. Complaints have been made, and the police are doing nothing. The members in West Bay, the 4 elected members, need to get out. I know they have a lot on their plate, but we, the people, voted for change, and we want change in our district. We have had enough. They need to get out and get walking and come and see what is taking place in our district where we voted you in. We want change. We are tired and we are sick of foreigners coming here telling us what we can or cannot do. The MPs need to get out and walk with some people in their district and their neighborhood in the evenings on a Friday and Saturday and see what the police are doing and not doing. We have to get our districts back to where people are not breaking laws in any shape or form. Because if we do not stand up for our young generation that is going to be the generation running Cayman in the next 5 to 6 or 10 years, we are going to be in a sad case. You talk about we are overrun with foreigners. We are outnumbered 1 to 3 by foreigners. We will be 1 to 10 in the next 5 years if we don't stop. So all the Lindas and Larrys and to the government, I hope you all are listening, because the Caymanian people did not vote for nothing to get done. We want change, and we want it, and we want to see the change. We have had enough. And like that caller said, if the police and the government don't soon start doing something, the people of this country are going to soon start do something like she said. Go and violate the Larrys and Lindas. When Cayman becomes a burning inferno with roads and cars and tires and trees, maybe then this government will listen. They need to come out and say something more, because Caymanians are being treated in this country like dogs. And we, the people that voted to put you in, we want change. So, Mr. Premier and every other member of this government, I hope you all are listening. There is one house in West Bay that blasts vulgar music. The weed is being smoked in it. Every Friday and Saturday night on Birch Tree Hill Road. I have complained about it to the police, and the police have done nothing. So now I want to find out what the minister for the area is going to do, because I know which minister it is, but I just can't get to that minister because they don't have an office. And I am tired of hearing
who
the
does
vulgarness.
Birch Tree Hill fall under? Which minister is that?
The house, the road I was told is the nearest road is Captain Vincent Lane. That area I was told falls in West Bay North.
And north is Ralston.
Yes. And I would like Mr. Ralston to come with me and walk that road one Friday evening to hear the vulgarness coming out of that yard. And the police will not go and shut it down. Because enough is enough. All the other neighbors
let me
that have
find
been
out.
told.
I'm going to find out where his MP office is.
All the other neighbors, I'm told, and I spoke to one, they have all complained about this vulgar music.
All right, leave me there, my dear.
Thank you, Sandra.
I appreciate it.
We Caymanians have had enough. We voted for change, and change is what we want.
Yes.
Or something else to happen to this country real fast, because the young Caymanians coming up, they're not putting no foolishness. They'll take a gun and a knife and a machete. Thank you, Sandra. Have a blessed
All right,
day.
my dear.
Good
Thank
luck
you
with
so
your
much.
appointment.
Yes,
too.
thank you
Bye-bye.
so much.
Bye-bye.
All right, folks, that's all she wrote. I got to go because I got to go to my appointment. There's some pre-operative stuff that I have to do. So let me get on that because, again, Thursday, I'm going to have to get this knee sorted out in terms of surgery. And I figured let me do it before my upcoming trip as opposed to after, because then I'm not going to enjoy the trip and I'll be in constant pain. So anywho, going to have some knee surgery on Thursday. Sorry, I cannot take any more calls. We're already a few minutes into overtime, so I got to run. Folks, thank you so much for another amazing, absolutely amazing show. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's what day? Wednesday? Yes. We'll be back tomorrow with a full show. And I was planning on doing the show on Thursday morning and then doing the surgery after, but I'm going to rethink that. Maybe I just need to be relaxed going into surgery. So I'll see how we feel. I might have to do Thursday and Friday off. But it's supposed to be keyhole surgery, which they say isn't as aggressive as, traditional. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated on kind of where we're at with that. I'll speak to the anesthesiologist today and get a better fix. Although the procedure itself might only be 45 minutes to an hour, you've got pre-operational stuff they're going to put me under. And then afterwards, they observe you for about 3-4 hours or whatever to make sure the anesthesia is, not having any bad reactions or anything like that. So, all right, folks, gotta do what you gotta do in terms of your health. So we all have to be on this path of doing a better job. So let me, I am going to send Simon, what's his name? Simon Davies, an email. Larry, what's his full name? Lawrence McBean. I'm just going to put in the subject now and I'll write it later and I'll send it off so that we can check in on what is happening there. Let me actually send this message to the minister as well. I do have to send Minister Ralston an email. Yes. Below sent last night to the okay, so good morning, Minister. Okay. I got something I got to do with a deadline in mind. Okay, so kind regards. All right, so let me get out the door. Need to go put on my pants, honey, chair, and head out the door. So we'll be back tomorrow morning. A lot of you, somebody just messaged me, when are you going to talk about the TAB stuff? I'm in the process of collating documents. I'm not going to sit down and just talk about TAB, about how I feel about them fornicating and having affairs. That's part of the problem, but there are much broader issues there, and we need to look at the documentation. So I'm putting the documents together, bringing you the documents, and it's going to be a tight show in terms of what we have to say about them, okay? So, a lot of people might feel a way about it because, oh, I like this one on TAB. I don't care who you like. There has to be accountability, and that's the name of the game. All right, folks, tomorrow morning, see ya. Be safe until then.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.